What's up, guys? So we're going to be at the 25-yard range day indoors. I want to do some comparison shooting. Actually, my 22 Ruger. It's a $400 gun. I haven't shot it for years. I'm curious on the accuracy at 25 yards with no wind. And I have 3 or 4 different types of ammo. One of them's kind of backyard friendly. Actually, it's a little special ammo. It's farmyard friendly, I guess you could say that. And I kind of want to compare the groups against, you know, a Daystate Red Wolf or something, the Talon P that I shoot, the Condor that I shot last week here, and just see the comparison at 25 yards. And then I kind of want to move it out, you know, in another video, go 50 and 100, because I have a sneaky suspicion things are going to be different as we increase this yardage and see what happens. But anyway, let's get into the 25-yard range, get some shooting, and compare the results back home. All right, guys, what I'm gonna do is put up my big camera, hopefully get my side shot, get you guys a little bit more into the action than before, because yeah, it was rough time last time. Camera, got the Ruger, get my bag up here, and yeah, we're starting loading things up. Okay, well, got it done. It wasn't much of a contest between the two, but I'm going to dig out between the two guns. The Ruger was well behind some of the ammo, but we're going to get back to the house. I actually want to compare this against my Talon P and the Condor, see what kind of groups. And yeah, we'll break it all down, the ammo and that CB ammo. That's really weird stuff. But yep, let's get back to the house and do the comparison. Welcome back, guys. So we had 4 types of ammo: the CB long, the SK match, the 22 standard CCI stuff, and the Ely. And the groups, all right, let's start with the worst. The worst group, obviously, is the CB long stuff. Look at those groups. They're pretty big. And I just stopped shooting at the third group was just wide open, like why bother? And that. The second, which was kind of surprising, was the SK match. This is expensive stuff, and it just didn't group that well. It was up and down all over the place, and yeah, that kind of threw me for a little bit. And the third place, the third stuff, is the CCI standard ammo. This is pretty cheap stuff. It did pretty good, you know, probably dime-sized groups. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then we go to the Ely stuff. Yeah, this kind of stuff here, little bit smaller, dime-sized groups, consistently a little bit smaller. And then if we compare against the day state, as you can see, significantly bigger than the day state. The day state's probably a third of a dime. It's the smallest one, the middle here. And then the other ones are kind of 2/3 of a dime, and that's consistent. And this last one I punched in just really quick, pop, pop, pop. And I knew what I was getting. I was like, okay. And that's using slugs. That's not using the most accurate ammo. Like pellets are going to be even more consistent out of this gun. So yeah, that's what you get. Now I know you're probably saying, that's great, but that's a very expensive target rifle. This is $400. That's like 6 times as much or more. So what does it go with? Something a little bit more mainstream. If we look at the 177 Condor, we're getting, you know, dime-sized groups, maybe a little bit bigger. This is a 177, so the groups look a little bigger in some areas, but it's not quite as tight as the Ely stuff. Yeah, and then if we go, I mean, here's some more Condor groups. And then if we go with the Talon P, the 177 Talon Ps, that's even a little bit bigger. That's probably dime to a nickel groups. That's a very hard rifle to shoot, to get groups in 177. It's okay. And then we go with the 25 cal Condor, and that's where you're getting probably, this group here is, you know, I don't know, it's probably 2/3 of a dime. These other ones are actually Nielsen. These are 59.3s. These guys, like I have another video of me shooting these groups and that. So the best group was the Griffin 59.3s, had some 36.2s in that. But again, it's just the same kind of situation, less than a dime. And then we have here, it's like 5 or 6 shots, right around a dime size. So in total, the things we can take away from this is, first, the ammo does matter, and it matters a lot in the 22 firearms, simply from the fact that you have 2 things working with the ammo. Feet per second, standard deviation, extreme spread. That's like how fast the rifle or the bolt's coming out of the gun, and then the projectile itself. So in an air gun, you just have kind of the same standard deviation or speed, because it's controlled by the air. This is controlled by the gunpowder. And then you have the projectile inside of it, which is that. So if they don't pour the right amount of gunpowder and get the right speed down, you're gonna suffer. And they have to match it to the actual slug or the bullet. So there's a double whammy. It really matters. We looked at the CB long stuff. It just does not work, probably 15 or 20 yards with this. Now I've had it in some other rifles that it worked pretty good, but just make a note, you really kind of have to test this out. In comparison, obviously it doesn't work or doesn't compete with the day state. It would be probably a close match for the 25 Condor if I got them both tuned up and ran them side by side. I think it'd be extremely close. The 177 Condor, I think it's going to beat it in that realm. And then the Talon P, right now it's going to beat it. So right in the middle across the board. But here's what I want to do. I want to take this out to 55 yards and 115 and I think it's going to change substantially. These groups and the size and the things that open up with the ballistic coefficient and a little bit of wind, yeah, I think things will open up, but I'm not sure. I want to test this. I actually have another air gun coming in here tomorrow, which I've talked about on this channel, kind of been confused over it, and I said, why not? Why not buy it and kind of test it out against stuff like this as well? So yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Just know, you know, the ammo for these 22s is super important. If you can get the right stuff, you can get it to perform just in about every 22, because, you know, they've got it down. I mean, they've got this stuff down to a kind of a science, and you can get some pretty good groups, and especially with a little bit of adverse conditions where some of this other stuff, again, we're pushing 120 foot-pounds, 100 foot-pounds of energy, and you can see the results. And this is just first time, just kind of winging through this. But yeah, average, kind of the average run-of-the-mill for an air gun at 25-yard accuracy, just grabbing four different kinds of ammo and that. So if you guys got comments, questions, concerns, write it down below. I'll try to get back with you, and hopefully I'll see you next week.